Hey, it's Taylor.
Hi. Yes, I'm glad you called. I'm on the road now. So.
Good to hear from you. How is everything going?
Oh, pretty good. I am on the road, headed home.
And tell me, you are in Del Rio, right?
Yes, doing my small animal core rotation.
How has it been going so
Over
far?
the last few months, dozens of Texas Tech students have been spread out across the state and region. It's a big year for the Texas Tech School of Veterinary Medicine.
Anesthesia, are you good if I cut?
Yes, ma'am.
In May of 2024, fourth-year students started a clinical year that will come to an end just before their graduation this spring in 2025. The first ever graduating class to do so.
Even the way that the faculty talk to him, speak with him, and build him up and encourage him and speak to those aspects of his personality that maybe other universities wouldn't think are that exceptional, like his ability to, just put in the hard work.
For us, it gives us the opportunity to highly refine who we are and what our mission is.
Most unique to us is our rural and regional mission statement.
And so ultimately what drove me more to go to Texas Tech at the time was because they want to serve these rural communities, because I've never been somebody that wants to go back to the city. They have easy access. We don't.
This episode features many voices in many different places. Because these students are spread out and we're covering their life over a period of time, you'll hear that these recordings are not always perfect. Sometimes they're in person, sometimes they're recorded voice memos, sometimes they're over the phone. So stay with us as we introduce you to an impressive collection of students at the Texas Tech Vet School with a unique mission. We'll tell you about it on this episode of Fearless, the clinical year.
Hi, I'm Brooke Foster. I'm in the inaugural class of 2025 at the Texas Tech University School of Veterinary Medicine.
Waiting to get your clinical rotation assignments is stressful. It comes late spring, just a few weeks before the end of the semester.
I am currently sitting here in my living room with my husband Ryan and my two dogs, Charlie and Goose. I just got home from my lab about an hour ago, and I have been anxiously pacing for the past hour, waiting for our clinical year schedules to be released on eValue. This is the most anxious I've felt since I was waiting on my call to hear that I was accepted into vet school. I feel like this is truly the next step in our careers as doctors, and it is honestly pretty nerve-wracking. But
Brooke Foster has been waiting for this day for a long time, since she was a kid actually. So it's no wonder she's anxious for the clinical schedule. She's from the College Station area. She grew up around Texas A&M, but found her way to West Texas to get her formal veterinary training with Texas Tech.
My next block, I will get to go back to Amarillo, back to Texas Tech, and do some diagnostic medicine at the vet school. And then I will get to go to Brazos Valley Equine Hospital for Block 5 in September. I've been taking my horses there since high school. I actually remember doing a junior little internship, a week-long internship as a high school student at Brazos Valley, and it was kind of my first taste of veterinary medicine and the first thing that got me interested. So getting to go
Brooke
back
has always
there
fancied
as a
herself more of an
fourth-year vet
equine girl.
student is so
Her long-term
exciting.
goal is to work with horses, but her third block of rotations is at Live Oak Animal Hospital in Lubbock. It tested her small animal skills. Her red scrubs stand in contrast to the white walls and shiny metal kennels holding a variety of different animals. We're in the operating room with Brooke and Dr. Barney. It's early afternoon and we're catching them in between procedures.
I might go try to track down a hair tie because doing surgery with my hair down might look bad to some viewers.
No problem.
She's bright and happy, excited to be here. She's been looking forward to this rotation, and so far, it's been everything she'd hoped.
Anesthesia, are you good if I cut?
Yes, ma'am.
On the table in front of Brooke is a cat. It's covered completely by a blue surgical cloth with a hole cut in the middle for Brooke to work. This is a routine spay. Brooke's been part of many of these before, but this is the first one solo, being assisted by Dr. Barney.
And then to make your life a little bit easier, that when you're going in with that spay hook, get your forceps and kind of just pull up on that body wall. Yeah. Okay. So then you're not having to fight with that body wall on top of your spay hook.
Yeah.
In the spring, Brooke's last round will take place in Kentucky and will rein in her specialty. It's an out-of-network opportunity to work with some thoroughbreds and racehorses around the time of the Kentucky Derby. But so far, she's done a lot of smaller procedures, like this one.
Do you feel like you got a good like window going on?
Oh yeah, I can see.
Okay. Does that help if I lift for you?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel it's a little bit easier when I'm passing it through to grab like the very tip, so you're not having to deal with the tail getting stuck on everything. And then you can just pass it through that little window. There you go. Looks great.
Awesome. Goodbye.
So you're doing so much better. This was a lot faster than the ones you were doing yesterday.
Good, thank you. Once I get past the first one, I'm like, okay, I can do this. It comes back to me.
And that's with cameras recording you too, so.
The clinical skills Brooke has developed are similar to those gained by other classmates, whose experiences started much like hers.
Good afternoon, my name is Dylan Fishbeck. I just received my schedule for fourth year rotations.
So I just got my email telling me my clinical schedule for the upcoming year. So open it now and seeing what it looks like. We're all really excited for our fourth year and been looking forward to this.
I'm really excited. I got pretty much every pick I wanted at every time. So I'm ecstatic about that and how everything worked out. We start our blocks off. We have 11 clinics or 11 blocks that we'll visit, one being a vacation block. All the blocks run for 4 weeks, with 3 to 4 blocks being back to back to back.
A lot of students are getting this opportunity to see their life and work come full circle. It's a special moment.
On block 6, I'm at Simmons and Harlem Vet Clinic, Wichita Falls, which is close to my hometown. That is a clinic that I interned a lot at throughout my undergrad and high school career.
When Dylan Fishbeck looks over his schedule, he's like Brooke and Connor, eager to see a return near his hometown in Hallettsville. It's coming up early fall. But when he opens up that email on the last day in April, it's still months away. For now, he has 3 month-long blocks until that time.
It just really ecstatic to be a part of this program, and really couldn't imagine anywhere else I want to be, and let alone be a part of such a great program and wanting to see where it goes in the future.
Dylan says he's someone who knows and likes his routine. He's somewhat of a stickler for it. So the idea of 11 months, 11 different locations across the state, he knows it's going to be a challenge. He's expecting it.
I can step outside real quick.
Are you sure? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was sitting in the stairwell. So
yeah, I know. I was going to guess. I'm like, he sounds like...
He's in the middle of a clinical block that's taking place at the vet school. He set aside his lunch break to talk with us.
Because I can imagine that, you finally get familiar with the area, or you finally feel comfortable, like, okay, where's the nearest Walmart? What restaurants are available?
That's pretty much it. You get the routine of the clinic, and basically you get 1 week of, you feel pretty proficient in it, and then you're like, oh, I gotta leave. That's the hardest part. It's just like you get in a routine, and
we talked about the vet school's mission statement, about going back into these small towns. And Dylan says this year has taught him a lot of important lessons about work-life balance, what makes the career sustainable, and what his own priorities are. It's also reinforced a critical sentiment.
I think going into school, my life goal was to, basically venture out, use these rotations as a job application. The closer I've gotten to the end of these rotations, the more and more I kind of just want to go straight back home. But that's always been the goal.
Many of these students are single. Some, like Brooke, are married. But for Giovanni Armendariz, the clinical year, his whole vet school experience actually, it's required a lot of sacrifice.
Hello.
Hey, Giovanni.
This is it.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing well. It's good to hear from you. How is everything going?
Oh, pretty good. I am on the road, headed home.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what
It's July when we're having this conversation. Giovanni just finished his first block in Navasota, Texas. It's a small community halfway between College Station and Houston.
I got a 10-hour drive and 9 hours is across Texas.
That's a lot. Tell me how the last few weeks have been.
It was all very new to me, but I enjoyed it. This facility, this hospital had a very high volume specialty equine referral center. So they see everything from your basic wellness exams, vaccine visits, to like really, really specialized surgeries. So it was really neat.
He's headed back to his family's farm in House, New Mexico, spelled House. In 2022, the population was 57. Their family farm has cattle, sheep, some chickens, and other small animals. They have a llama and a donkey. Giovanni and his wife purchased the land about 10 years ago, and it requires all hands to operate, even the small ones. His 12-year-old daughter takes her responsibility of tending to the 29 chickens very seriously. So this decision for him to go back to school was a big lift for his entire family.
It really has taken a village of support. Like my dad, my brother, my mom, they keep the cattle operation going. My wife, my father-in-law, the neighbor, my brother-in-law, they help out with our farm and sheep operation. So that's kind of allowed me to really focus on school and not have to worry about that stuff at home.
Tell me about your wife and your kids.
Been married for 17 years. I've got 2 daughters at home. They are 12 and 10 years old. During the school year, the last 3 years, I live in Amarillo in an RV park about 3 miles from campus during the week. My family is in New Mexico, 2 hours away. And so I try to make it home as much as I can every weekend that I can.
Hello, this is Laura.
Hey, Laura, it's Taylor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
His wife, Laura, is the high school English teacher. She also teaches elementary art, music, PE, archery as an extracurricular activity. And she's the district testing coordinator and career counselor. Small town, many hats.
I have the funnest job because I get to teach the preschoolers all the way up to the 12th grade. I'm involved in everything, and that's my personality.
Giovanni was in the military when they met. They married just before his final deployment to Iraq. Laura talks about how even then he talked about becoming a veterinarian. She says they've lived in every season of life together. They've literally grown up side by side. From military life to having their first daughter, Adela. Then 2 years later, Laura gave birth to twins. They were premature. Isabella was healthy, but Michaela required some special attention. Isabella contracted a virus when she was just 2 months old. She didn't make it. But Michaela continued to grow. She completed their family. Today, the 10-year-old still has a lot of medical needs. She's been in and out of hospitals, requires daily care. I say all of this because it helps bring into sharper focus everything that goes into Giovanni's dream. All of the people involved, the support and investment to see it become reality.
We went ahead and we bought a farm a few years ago. It was another dream that we had. But as soon as he went to vet school, that meant somebody else had to, run the farm. And my dad helps mostly with that. He lives about a quarter of a mile down the road. And he's also there. He puts the girls in the bus so I can run up to school and get things started for my classroom and everything for the day for my students. And then my mother-in-law helps out a lot with Michaela's needs. She comes and she helps me do her cares and everything so that I can still function. It's funny because if we had adopted this dream of him going to vet school and assumed that because it was our dream, we had to do it all on our own, we would have been hurting. It would have been very hard. But we've never seen our life that way. And thankfully, we have a family that's never seen things that way either. And it's like the dream belongs to everybody.
Some people would look at this commitment to going back to school as a challenge. But Laura refers to it as their latest adventure. She says that when Texas Tech announced they were going to open the School of Veterinary Medicine, he came to her and he said, "I think we could do this."
That was terrifying. I'm not going to lie. We do have family nearby, but Michaela had just gone through a season where she was in and out of children's hospitals with epilepsy, and she was very, very, very sick. And she is just coming out of it. And then also just the financial aspect of it. And I was like, okay. And I always just like to tell them, okay, well, let's take the first step forward and just see what happens. I'm not saying yes or no. Yeah. But what really felt like this was God's plan was when he got the scholarship that provided a way for us financially to make it possible. I mean, it was like it felt more obvious that this was what God had planned for him.
Yeah. Giovanni and Laura write a beautiful story. This spring when he graduates, he's going to return to his family, renewed and inspired and more determined than ever to give back to his small community. Laura says they're desperate for medical care in their small town, and Giovanni is hungry to serve that need. He says his desire has been met by the school in Amarillo, the place that has granted him the ability to walk in his life's calling.
Honestly, I love TTU. I didn't know a university like this exists. One of the reasons I absolutely love it is how much they value character and work ethic and the actual doing of life, as opposed to maybe just the academics. It fits Giovanni's personality perfectly. And even the way the faculty talk to him, speak with him, and build him up and encourage him and speak to those aspects of his personality that maybe other universities wouldn't think are that exceptional, like his ability to, just put in the hard work and get things done. Then also the fact that they found a way financially for it to work for our family. We have a very unusual circumstance. He's definitely not the traditional student. And yet it's not only been possible, we're looking like the light is at the end of the tunnel. We're almost there.
We'll be right back.
Hey, my name is Tim Howard, and I work in marketing here at Texas Tech. At the university, we're constantly evolving our educational experience to meet the needs of more students both in person and online. And I can attest to this because I actually earned my graduate degree through TTU Online. This past year, our Texas Tech online team rolled out a new plan designed to offer even more flexibility for online students. The 10K degree plan helps you complete your bachelor's degree. If you have earned at least 80 hours, this plan can get you to the finish line. If you'd like to learn more, visit our website at online.ttu.edu/10K. Texas Tech Online is where flexibility meets opportunity. If you'd like to learn more, you can find the link in our show notes.
If you have not seen pictures of the vet school in Amarillo, you should Google it. It's really incredible. That classic Texas Tech Spanish architecture partnered with the state-of-the-art lab spaces and technology. When you step foot in the main entrance, you're met with a gorgeous dark-stained wooden staircase and an expansive open floor plan with seats filled with students chatting or studying or relaxing before their next class. The students in this room, while different, share a common thread. They have dreams and plans and ambitions that are all their own, but they are cut from the same cloth.
Most unique to us is our rural and regional mission statement, in that we want to reach the people. We're in Texas. We're, being in the Panhandle, we're in the beef capital. Knowing that we're producing the students that are needed for our culture here in Texas is important. And rural and regional, and supporting, my parents are from small towns. So these students are mainly from small towns. So they're going to go back there and support their community in more ways than just being a veterinarian.
Gayla Beals is a student program manager. She and Danelle Barber coordinated this clinical year for every student. They work closely with leadership like Britt Conklin to reinforce this mission statement, to provide sustainable health care in rural communities.
Is it easy building a school? No, it's not. But the pathway we have developed for our students and their success is what's important.
We often say, and maybe you have heard, but being the second publicly funded veterinary school in a state is extremely liberating. So the first one has to be all things to everybody in the state relative to veterinary medicine. For us, it gives us the opportunity to highly refine who we are and what our mission is. So we have a narrow scope. We have a narrow target. The bullseye is pretty small. And because of that, that dictates everything that we do. Okay, we admit students differently. We train them differently. And we actually give them that experiential learning in that fourth year in a different manner because we are focused, as Gayla said, on this rural and regional mission.
Almost 100% of these students come from rural pockets across the state and region. They grew up entrusting their horses or dogs or cats to the only veterinarian in their small towns. But in the case of students like Nyla Tellis, they had no local options.
We didn't have a veterinarian in Eagle Pass. And Eagle Pass, if you wanted veterinary care, you had to travel. And for me, who has show animals, I had to travel kind of hefty distances to work on any of my show animals if I needed to, because it wasn't close by where people would actually want to work on these show animals.
Nyla remembers being frustrated, even feeling helpless by this lack of veterinary care.
Preventative medicine, that wasn't a thing. Like, if you had any sort of medicine surgery that you needed to do, you'd go to Mexico. Like, that's how close Eagle Pass is to the border.
But then, a woman began to intervene. Nyla remembers her well, the veterinarian who would come to Eagle Pass to host vaccination drives.
And that made me realize, like, oh, okay, they are trying to do some of this stuff, but at the time, we didn't have, like, a clinic, per se. And so, ultimately, what drove me more to go to Texas Tech at the time was because they want to serve these rural communities, because I've never been somebody that wants to go back to the city. They have easy access. We don't.
And this problem is all too common. According to the National Library of Medicine, communities in South Texas are at an increased risk because of their general lack of access to health care. This applies to both humans and animals. Families are required to travel further for any medical needs. That's why, since 2014, hundreds of people have bought into Texas Tech's dream of the School of Veterinary Medicine and pushed to make it a reality. Even the state legislature recognized the demand for rural veterinarians, setting aside more than $17 million to open the school in May of 2019. This created hope for a whole host of people. But come May, it will provide tangible options to the communities and veterinary care deserts who have felt the pain of getting medical help a little too late for their beloved pets, or for the livestock they depend on for their living. For Laura, knowing her husband will walk across the stage and into the region, ready to serve such a critical purpose, validates the years of work and sacrifice.
The dream belongs to everybody. And at the end of the day, everybody chips in, everybody helps make this happen. And when he is a veterinarian, it'll affect everybody. It'll affect our whole community.
And for Nyla, it's her long-awaited chance to pay forward the influence a veterinarian had on her for generations to come.
I think one of the biggest things for me is, like, when I was a kid, I've had the endless support of my parents to be able to, like, tell me, like, you can do whatever you want. Not everybody has that. And so for me, I would love to have kids, if possible, hear some of these podcasts and be like, hey, we are from small towns and we did it too. You know, like, it's totally possible.
Fearless is produced by Texas Tech Marketing and Communications, associated and written by me, Taylor Peters, with special help from Ashlyn Grodegood. Thomas Boyd is our editor. To learn more about the vet school, you can find a link in our show notes. Fearless is a Texas Tech production. From here, it's possible.